Hello, and welcome to the Troyiverse. This is episode 10. Wow, we made it. Okay, so after episode 9, I wanted to just basically share not what was happening to me, but more so what I was engaging in um, during those years of 8 to another pivotal year of 16. Uh, I was a precocious little scamp, honestly, at that age. After the fable of my mother not believing in me and going to believing I would go to college and yada yada yada, and me taking my own accountability and saying as an 8-year old believing that fable, I chose to do a different route and just be like, all right, I'm just not going to worry about school and college and yada yada yada. For my own sake of acknowledging where I was, my headspace, and that I love learning. I've always loved learning. However, the passion of what I thought was meant for, or matter of fact, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase it, because even when I was saying it, I was like, "No, that's not it. That's not it." When I, until recently, because I'm 44. Like, I started out in all the other ones, and I'm still in the same year of 2025. It's the end of the year almost. Jeez, it's December 20th. First off, it's December 20th. It's almost Christmas. That's wild. Um, but yeah. Since since a young age, since that age of before being 8, even in like when I was a child, like 4 or 5, whatever like that. My whole life has always been about wanting to help, to be of service. Um, Ironically, I was placed in a family full of individuals who are black holes who only want to receive help and never want to give help. So that was I want to say a proving ground for me to learn the lessons that I needed to learn, and I appreciate all the lessons I learned from all of my blood family members. Matter of fact, before I go into this story about how precocious I used to be, or how precocious I still am, but as a child in this regard, I wanna, I gotta, I gotta tell you something how grateful I am about something. Um, so if you're in the East Coast or near the, you know, Philly, Delaware, Jersey, New York area, well, like that. I'm not sure if New York got it, but it was a major storm that happened like 2 days ago, or like was it 2 days ago? Or no, yesterday. Sorry, it was yesterday. Time is a construct. Um, but because of the snow that happened, was that 4 days ago? I guess 3 or 4 days ago. The snow, dampened and weakened like the roof of my home, of my family house. So I woke up yesterday, and this is why I'm grateful. I'm so grateful because I'm in a perpetual state of being comfortable, and I am being led by my own energy and my spiritual team and my fifth dimensional divine self and my ancestors and everyone else that's included to be placed in a position of comfort. That's just the energy that I resonate within and I'm resonating without. So when stuff happens to me or stuff around me happens, I'm like, and it doesn't make me or keep me in a state of comfortability, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this is just my understanding of saying, all right, I'm going to be moving from this situation soon because I'm not comfortable here. And because of all the stuff that you heard about and everything, I mean, it should have been a occurrence of action to reaction of understanding that by now. But yeah, I woke up. I woke up to plopping on my face. But luckily, the plopping wasn't directly on my face. It was a reaction from the original source of the plop plopping on something, and then that ricochet plop ricocheting on me and plopping me that way. I had my it's TMI, but not crazy TMI. Like I sleep with like a pillow neck brace, just for comfort, just so that my neck doesn't, you know, like tilt too much at a different awkward angle or anything like that, or if my pillow is like, you know, loses its fluff and I go down a couple of centimeters and like that, my neck might be in a precarious stance or like that or state. So I got a neck pillow, and I also have a face mask, an eye face mask. I just recently got it. I never was one of those fans of those face masks. Like I always seen it in the movies, and I was like, that's just interesting. I'm not going to say what I used to say because I did find it interesting at first. I also found it something else like another term, but I'm not going to go there. But I was all like, yeah, like I don't like what's I don't. All right. I mean, doesn't it bother your eye? Like I don't. I never. I got the concept. I just never seen how it would apply to me, honestly. So, but recently, getting some, let's just say, supplies for my extracurricular activities, I ended up being given or received as a gift a face mask. Actually, a couple of face masks. Actually, I gave one to my one of my one of my ex companions. But so now wear a face mask because I was like, let me just try it out. And after me transitioning and coming back when I was in the fifth dimension, I'm just gonna say it's comfortable having a face mask. It makes me feel um more present in the moments that I am at in the fifth dimension and what I'll be going back to after this physical form passes. Um, After I release it, basically. Um, so it gives me comfort. It gives me like a sense of just unity of self, if you will, and of course unity of everything. But so I'm wearing a face mask. I'm wearing my eye mask. I'm wearing my my neck pillow, cushion on, and I'm feeling the plop. And I'm like, what's going on? So I reach over to feel where the plop is coming from because once again my eyes are still covered. I'm not even I'll cover my eyes. I'm like I'll figure it out when I figure it out, but I feel and I like oh my gosh, it's plopping on my tablet. But because I got the safeguards for the screen, waterproof screen, and also the wrapping around it so it doesn't doesn't break or fall out. So because it's dropping on the plastic, I move it out the way, and I'm like, all right, clearly the plopping's coming from the ceiling, so let me look up. So I take my phone, which is also next to me, turn on my flashlight because it is dark, remove my face mask, and I'm looking up at the ceiling. It's a crack. It was always a crack there because the house is old. The house was made in like what 1905. Yeah, the house was built 1905. Um, for reference, I have nothing but time on my hands because I'm basically I keep to myself. So all I do is just research and learn stuff. If something pop in my head, especially as a Gemini, if something just random pop in my head, I'm going like, oh, I wonder what the whole history of that is. So one day I looked up the whole history of like not the whole history, but the different websites like Zillow and all this, realtors information and stuff like that about my location, and just found out a whole bunch of history about the house I grew up in. But digress. So it was a crack in the ceiling. I see the drips coming down, so I'm like, oh, here we go. And now this is on my second floor of my bedroom, and I sleep in the middle bedroom. Um, so I'm like, let me do what I need to do to restore my comfort level, because regardless of anything, the plopping is dripping on my tablet, and my tablet is on my bed. So if I move my tablet, I mean the dripping is going to be dripping on my mattress on my bed. So I'm like, nope, can't have that. So I have enough room in my room, um, regardless of all lived in household stuff from different family members that are still in like that living area, living space. So I was able to move the bed as far over as possible, which was a great like spatial awareness because it was able to get completely uh the drop was falling completely on the floor instead of on the bed now. So now all I had to do was get a bucket and you know put a bucket under there to catch the water. So we have a cat, um, and because I just signed a treaty with my arch nemesis of baking soda, I'll get into that later. Um, I use baking soda and I also use the kitty litter that the cat has, and I put in the bucket, and then I place the bucket underneath the drip to catch the water. So mind you, it's like 7 something a.m. in the morning. Like I don't wake up like I can wake up early. I've had jobs where I had to wake up early. Like but preferably I'm a night owl and a late waker. So truthfully I always say my Carl, if you're new to this, Carl is my brain. My brain named itself Carl in reference of Carl Winslow from Family Matters. And I'll get in that. It's in one of my other previous podcasts if you are new to this, but for all those who are familiar with that and resonate with it, yeah, Carl doesn't get up until afternoon. So yeah, uh, I was literally just running on my own steam of just saying like, fix the problem, and as soon as you fix the problem, we can go back to sleep. so I fixed the problem, put the bucket under there. But now I'm like, I don't feel like going to sleep because if I go to sleep, I won't be able to like clock in at like my designated time to clock in my job. So I'm like, I'll just stay up. So as I'm up, I'm chilling, and I decide because my roommate isn't up at the moment, and my it's still early, but I'm like, you know what? I'll wait until a proper morning time when everybody should be up. So I waited till like 10:45, 10:46, if you will. And I sent because I took a video. I took videos of the crack and the drip happening and where it's at. So I sent 2 videos, and I'm like, heads up, woke up to this. Thought y'all should know. So one of my cousins, my cousin who I talk about greatly, who just got married and uh, introduced our family to a new member of the family, as well as these 2 beautiful individuals created a wonderful little baby boy, and like that's my little homie, and like love him and stuff like that. So he hits me up and he's like, and I'll because I text message him and I text message his father, who is my uncle. So I will be referring to these both of these individuals. One, my cousin, who I just started talking about, who replied first. I want to I want to call him Senor Junior, Senor Junior. So SJ, and I want to call his father Senor Senior. So SS. So so SJ texts back, which room is this? Question mark. I sent back the middle room. I was plumb surprised with a emoji with a meme from Bear Fest. Um, and then SS texts back, wow, patchwork coming. Then SJ says, need a roof inspector slash work. So I text back, yeah, no. That's why I'm letting the family know about the family house. Looks like a big job for the family. My bear emoji and Phoenix or like that. And then SJ says, right, I figure since my dad is involved. And then SS says, along with all the other home improvements, didn't they do the roof? Question mark. If not, then why not? Question mark. And that was the end of which call. I think SS was talking to SJ about a project or something that they were doing. I'm not sure because I'm not sure what it pertained. I'm not sure why the question was pertaining to other rooms in the home, unless all I can think of is they talking about the home I'm talking about now, but that don't make sense because only repairs that was done were the repairs that I paid for on the porch, but people should know that because that was the information that was being relayed to them through pictures that I sent, as well as information that was given by my roommate to them about the situation. So I'm confused. So I didn't reply. I was like, maybe that was a question to SJ, or maybe that was a rhetorical question. So I don't answer rhetorical questions because I'm like, I don't know what the point of the rhetorical question was. But honestly, my point of that conversation was already ended because my thing was I'm delivering a message. The message is y'all have decreed that this is a family home, and since y'all want to decree this is a family home, as well as, let me just be clear, the 27 minutes within the pertain recording that I had, my cousin, the Virgo, was talking about how this is the family home, but I'm not a part of the family apparently, so I don't have any like say so about the house, the family house. So I'm like, hey, I want y'all to know as the family that y'all family house needs some repairs. So if y'all want to have the responsibility of claiming that this is y'all house in totality, as this is a family house, then y'all as a totality need to figure out what the fuck y'all gonna do with this house repair. I'm not a part of it. So, because my thing is now, I, especially since I started playing stocks, I only invest in stuff that's going to actually have some type of like return. And clearly, if y'all are saying that I'm going to be putting money in the same way that y'all as stockholders are saying that y'all should be, or y'all realistically not putting money into this, but I'm the only one putting money into this. No, I'm good. I'm not gonna put money into this no more. I want to put money into myself. I want to put money into my homes. I want to put money into the things that I want to that's going to bring me back like recurring like income or recurring benefits back from it. I'm not going to just waste my money into this generational curse that y'all call a family house. I'm good. So I was cracking up because I was just like, that's such a, first of all, if I'm saying it's a crack in the ceiling, shouldn't the whole conversation be about the crack in the ceiling? I'm not even sure what the rhetorical question was about all that stuff. Or understanding, like, I mean, I get as men, hence why I don't hang out with men like that. Um, and, and clearly I don't hang out with anybody like that. But the reason why I don't hang out with men because men say obvious things and act as if they just discovered Plymouth Rock. Like, I mean, fair. We all do repairs, and yes, we all done construction. Yes, we all work in carpentry and demolition, and we understands the in and out. We all know that it's going to be patchwork that needs to be done. We all know that it's going to be stuff that needs to be looked at. So it was just kind of like, it's kind of like if this is something else that happened to me like a lot of times. I'll be saying something because I'll be watching something, and like, let's say, all right, for instance, I have a particular like attraction to Asian people, like Asian individuals, like just the whole aesthetic of it. And it spawned from many different reasons. The first one, honestly and obviously, was Shogun Assassin, or Lone Wolf and Cub. Um, I was, jeez, I want to say I was like 8 or 9 at that around that time too. Like when I first seen that movie. When I first seen the movie, and it's funny because that was the first exposed breast I've ever seen in a movie, and it was from an Asian woman. It was a beautiful scene. There was nothing sexual about it. It was literally a thing of just like they were stuck in the rain and they had to get naked to use their body warmth to like keep themselves like from dying from like exposure to the elements. And it was funny because it was actually it was so funny because once again another movie that I seen that happen in was the movie where what was that? It was with Lewis, not Lewis. What was his name? Louis Joseph. No, it was the black actor from like in the '80s, and he was an alien, and it was a white human dude that was on the planet with him, and the elements happened, and they were both males, and they had to get naked to like huddle up underneath like a dome or an animal or something like that to like stay warm. It was the same thing from like Luke and Han, and Star and Empire Strikes Back. Um, what was it? Uh, yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Not Empire, because Empire was it Return of the Jedi? Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi. When they was on the Hoth, and they had to cut the animal open and go into the belly and stay warm. Except they didn't take the clothes off; they just stayed clothed. But in this one, they got wet and everything, so they had to take the clothes off. And they had to huddle over the witch guard. It's my point. It was just a scene in the movie. But for me, in my young age, first time I seen a breast, like one singular breast. I think it was just one singular. It was just because the baby seeing the breast, and the baby was like, "Oh yeah, from nipples come milk," and yada yada yada. So he was playing with it. He was like, he wasn't playing with it, but it was a child like exploring, you know, a breast. But it was the first breast I seen, so I was just like, "Oh my god, like that's amazing!" And that was the first breast I seen. It was just all encompassing. Anyway, and then of course, Chinese Super Ninjas, which they changed into a different title because they didn't want to use the word Chinese in the witch color because they thought it was, you know, inappropriate. Well, it came from like Shaw Brothers. Like the Shaw Brothers named their own title of the movie that, but um, even the interpretation coming in English, it was still the same title, but they changed it to a different title. I think it was like Five Super Ninjas or Incredible Super Ninjas or something like that later. But anyway, um, Shibari was another thing I learned from martial arts movies, like tying somebody up and having them in these precarious positions of a state of bondage. Um, it was a great scene because it was one of the students who knew kung fu. His master sent him to one of his friends that understood like Chinese martial arts and the way of the ninja. And in learning that, he had to also learn the techniques of the rope ties so that if he ever did get captured by a ninja or something like that, that he would have the skills to unlock it. So basically, you think of like Houdini getting out of the straitjacket. It was one of those things. But like the way that it was put, the way it was done was he was because that's how they all that's how all the kung fu movies were back in the day. Like all of them just walked around basically like Goku. Everybody had their shirts off and they had like their like dojo pants on and shit like that, and like their shoes and stuff. They had their weapons, or they'll have vests on, and their vest was just a vest with like all their man meat and everything else. And then eventually that vest would come off, and they would just be fighting topless. So, so the scene basically had him just shirtless, tied up, and I was just like, "Yep, that's it. That's that's what I that's what I crave. That's what I want." But regardless, the later on scene, he got out, and then he ended up getting the traitor, and the traitor was a ninja woman, and she was the one who he basically kind of fell in love with, and she kind of fell in love with him too in a way, well, like that. It was kind of interesting, but it was a thing where he ended up getting out and then subduing her, and then tied her up the same way. And then I seen that scene, I was like, oh, that's definitely what I'm more into. Like, forget about me being tied up. I want to be able to tie somebody else up, and that's always been. And I once again, I seen that movie when I was, I think I was like 8, 9, or 10 around that time. This once again Saturday morning cartoons, and then it went straight into like the Saturday morning like kung fu Shaw Brothers stuff. So like, yeah. But anyway, so it was a lot of like cultural things that I enjoyed. Not to mention just the fact that like culturally, the aesthetic culturally, as much as Asian aesthetics go, like from China, from Korea, from Japan, like there is a bond and a kinship towards the two different aesthetics. I mean, more so realistically, if you know the history of stuff and you know how like the migration patterns of like people from Africa and from Kemet actually did, then it has already been proven and shown that Africans went to all those different areas and actually started to live, populate, and also mutate into what they look like now. Hence why there's so many dark skinned Asians out there with African features and yada yada yada. Because once again, climate and elevation and different locations causes the body to evolve and mutate over generations. And in those generations, that's what happened. That's why when you look at a lot of different Asian cultures, a lot of the more darker hued, and that's not just in Asian cultures, that's also in Indian culture as well. Um, uh, they just shit on the darker hue people of their race. Like, if you look at every Bollywood movie, only one that you really see is going to really look like super, 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 super dark is going to be like the shaman that lives in the woods or something like that, or like the more spiritual, like tribes people, if you will. But even with that, um, like anime, they love like they make anime, we love anime. We make hip hop, they love hip hop. We imitate each other. It's like literally cousins. We're racially cousins, basically. And that's why I was always felt like that kinship. Not to mention just the fact that like they do have their dramas and stuff. They do have their like thing, but they have their dramas just like everybody else had their dramas. But they have such a beautiful like community when it comes down to it. Like, not to say like everything is not peaches and cream, because like we know about yakuza, we know about different gangs and stuff like that, yada yada. But like, I watched good like the Joy Luck Club when I was growing up. I loved that movie. By the way, that movie was hilarious. I can't remember because I don't think it was which call who played Two Face, but I do feel like it was somebody that was like him. But I just can't help remembering the scene where the mom always would make a big beautiful spread of food, and then he'd be like she'll go and be like criticize her food, but it's only so that everybody in the family can be like, no, 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 like this is delicious. Like here, put some soy sauce on it. Put some, yeah, I mean, put, yada yada. They like, no, we don't need to put soy sauce because it's perfect how it is. And it was just a beautiful thing because it's like, yeah, if you take the time and the effort, you do want to be appreciated. I mean, granted, you should come out and say it, but they address that. Like she doesn't come out and say she want to be appreciated. She just wants you to say, no, 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 everything tastes great. But then she, one of the daughters married a Caucasian man and brought him over, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, just I didn't think this is what so please." But he was like, "No, it's fine. Like, but it could use some more soy sauce. It could use some more salt. It could." He was, and she was like, "The fuck." It was so funny, but um, I just I love to respect it. Like, Memoirs of Geisha was dope. Like, I I I literally went from growing up looking at like Shaw Brothers and kung fu stuff to like literally just watching K dramas all the time now. I don't even watch anything that got violence half the time anymore. Like I can't speak more about Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. Like I really feel like that's one of the latest and greatest things I've watched so far, which is so great. But I gotta watch another K drama, matter of fact. But anyway, digress. So now I'm like, it was just, it's just this is funny. Anyway, so like I said, going in back to the reason why I brought all this up in the first place was just the fact of saying like I could literally be sitting there being like, oh yeah, I was watching um people create shelters in the woods. Like that's my bread and butter now. Like I love watching like people go out there on themselves with their camera, with their like axe and their shovels and stuff like that, and like just cut down trees and just like build like a structure for them to live in that's secure and got like a fireplace and they can like cook meals and stuff like that. And I watch everybody do it. Like if Asian people, white people, men, women, non-binary, whoever, it don't matter. As long as the structure fucking stands and y'all are safe and the elements and the animals can't get to you, I want to watch it because I want to learn how you did it because I want to do it myself one day. So, but if I'll say something, on for example, going back to original statement, if I say something like, "Oh yeah, I was watching this, you know, this young lady build a structure in the woods like that," somebody be like, "Hey, yeah, well, was she Asian?" And I'll be like, I won't say that because I'm just like, that's a random question. But yes, she was. And then it'd be like, they feel like they got a got you moment. Not to say like my cousin was saying, oh, it's a got you moment, saying like, oh, you need to repair you need to get inspection and repair, patchwork. But it was just kind of like, I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I don't know like. That's why I don't really reply to stuff when people say stuff that just is a matter of fact statement. If it's a matter of fact statement, like it's kind of one of those. I don't know where the conversation is going to go there because I said what I said already. I informed y'all as the family, at least from half of the family who actually properly listens to me. You know what I mean? And when I say half the family, I meant between those two. Like Steven listens to me, my uncle half hears me and goes into something else. Um, but that's just how that their generation is. It's just they they hear stuff, they hear what they want to hear, and then they go off of what they believe that they heard and make that the fable of their reality. And I'm like, all right, cool, cool. But all I did was just spread the information because I'm comfortable. My bed is out the way. I got a bucket there. I'm moving eventually soon. I already know that's going to happen, and I'm going to move on my own with the one person I actually always wanted to live with. So that's it. But yeah, it was just always it was funny. It was so funny. But anyway, digress. So far, oh, going back to like the precociousness of like me being like a child or like that. Like I found it funny because it was interesting. And one last thing with even with those two actually, because bringing back the conversation when my I was expressing to SJ about how I feel about the family and how I'm like I don't feel loved, I don't feel cared for, I don't feel I don't feel like y'all want me around at all. Like I'm either a burden or I'm a tool to be used. And he told SS that, and SS was like, "What do you mean? Why would he feel that way? Like we love him." And it goes back to the whole point. You don't even know me, because like I don't understand. Like you don't know anything about me. Because if you did, then I should be celebrated more. Because I literally just seen a video of somebody celebrating another family member just for like doing something impressive for his stature. But I'm just like, all right, cool. That's the type of love and care and concern everybody should be getting. That I give out to them, but I'm like, all right, I don't receive. So if I'm not going to be investing into, I'm not going to invest in that either. But I was just like, y'all don't know anything about me. I'm a stranger to y'all. In the same way, y'all are strangers to me, except for I know what's going on in y'all life because I'm getting information from about y'all because I'm asking about y'all. I'm like, hey, how's it going with them? How's it going? Well, I used to. I'm not asking anymore. I used to. I'm just like, yeah, what was going on with them? What's going on with them? And I would know, or the Facebook stuff, because I would, share. Literally, I would like their stuff. I would share their stuff, comment on their stuff. But I don't get reciprocated the same way. So I'm like, it is what it is. Y'all don't know me. So I'm not going to put energy in y'all if y'all don't know. If you don't know me, I'm not going to put energy into you. Because until y'all change your ways and say that you do want to know me, then, we can sort it out then. But right now, yeah, I'm doing my own thing because that's all I've been doing the whole time, my own thing. But anyway, speaking of what the things like going into the segue of them not knowing me, yeah, I was like, 10 or 11 when I actually broke into my own home, like my family house. Because all right, let's just be let's be clear. I have a lot of keys and dingly bobs on my keychain, and that's because as a youth, as a youth, as Smitty would say, as a youth, I would lose my keys because I will only have 1 to 2 keys on my keychain, and as a child running around it will fall out my pocket because kids' pants were not made for like deep pockets apparently. So like if I'm running around like shorts and stuff like that, and the 2 keys fall from my pocket and hit the ground, and I'm not paying attention, it's not gonna make a sound. However, if I got like the janitor size keys, if I got janitor size keys, and I hear janitor size keys with knickknacks and big bobs and stuff like that hit the ground, I want to hear that. I'm like, oh shit, fuck, is that my keys? And I want to turn around and get it. So from a young age, I literally got to a point where I would either forget my keys or I would lose my keys. It would. I'm actually grateful because my little brain, my little child self brain, was always freaking out every time I lost a pair of keys because it was like, oh my god, somebody's gonna come into the house and kill us all. Like that's the type of thoughts I had. I just that's yeah. Don't get me wrong. It was fueled by my mom telling me that. It's not like I just made that shit up. Like I was like, oh my god, I lost my keys, so somebody gonna come in the house and kill us. No, she would say you lost your keys, so somebody could come in the house and kill us. Oh, I didn't think of that, but you're right. So now I'm gonna think about that forever. But at the same time, I still kept losing my keys because I was trying to be a kid, trying to have fun, especially because of the fact that I was like, if I'm not going to be learning from a aesthetic of academic prowess, then I want to learn through experience. So I was like being a kid, running around doing like kid shit. And yeah, I would lose my keys. But I ended up, I went up one day, I didn't lose my key. I just left it home. Because I actually, for somehow, some way, in my kid mind, I was like, well, if I just leave my keys home and I go outside and run around, I'm not going to lose it because I know where it's at. It's in the house. Not even thinking like, yeah, but if the door is locked, how can you get it? It didn't even dawn on me. But once again, I was a child. I didn't know stuff, and I literally stopped thinking about excelling in academia. So I literally had to break into my, which is so funny and so rare because I never, ever remember being at my house by myself or ever having a point where the house was ever empty. It was always somebody in the house between my grandparents, one of my mom's siblings, or one of my 2 Virgo cousins. It was always somebody in the house. For some reason that day, no one was home. No one was home. I don't even know where they went, but nobody was home. I literally had to break into my house at like 9, 10, 11. Like, it was hilarious. And no one knows about that. I don't think I ever told anybody that story. Well, one because I didn't want anybody to literally be talking about leaving my keys at the house. One, so I'll take accountability for that reason why I never told anybody. And secondly, I never told anybody because I was like, I never wanted anybody to figure out how to break into my house. I was a kid. If I was a kid and I figured out how to break into my own house, I'm like, clearly adults is going to learn how to break into. They're going to think like, well, if he did it, I could do it. Like, and I literally like so funny. So yeah, held on to that trade secret for like Jesus over 30 years, 30 plus years. But yeah, I used to just learn stuff. I used to just do stuff. I used to like I that led me into being a role character in D&D. Honestly, like going back to the whole delusion thing, because honestly, it was kind of like watching all my like ninja stuff as kids and all those secret agent stuff. Like like as a kid and watching like James Bond sneaking to places and stuff like that. I was like, that's basically what I was doing. I was having fun. I literally was making a build your own adventure um, with my antics of what I was doing. I was learning street smarts instead of book smarts. and about well, ironically enough, still learning book smarts and stuff because I still was reading. Like I was still reading different books. Like most of the time, it was ironically enough choose your own adventure books, and it was or Goosebumps. Like I love the Goosebumps series. R.L. Stein was my hero. Oh my god. From watching that and then getting older and getting into my scenes and stuff like that and watching Erie and Rihanna and like Are You Afraid of Dark and um Twilight Zone and Outer Limits and Three Stooges. Like everything was just fantasy or like sci-fi or comedy or like that. And then of course I got into movies because it became a thing of like I use movies as my outlet to experience the things that I wasn't able to be given as a child or experience as a child. You know, watching like movies where fathers and sons went fishing on a lake and just had like, a heart to heart type thing, or looking at like when I got older, movies like 10 Things I Hate About You, that is just taming of the shrew in modern time. And that thirst of hunger for knowledge and for learning always had me do things like watch a movie over and over again and memorize the line. And then it got to a point where I would evolve and get older, and I was like, oh, I could get DVDs. And if I go get the DVDs, then I can watch the commentary on the DVDs with the director and the actors and stuff like that. I was thinking. So then I would watch the movie without the commentary. Then I'll watch the movie again with the commentary. And then don't let it be like two to three different commentaries. Like 40-year-old versions had two different commentaries. They had the commentaries with the director and I think the main cast, and then it had one with the director Steve Carell and like a couple other of the cast. But it was just even funnier and raunchier and stuff like that. So like I would do that. Like I would like oh my gosh, like I would do that so much at like in my 20s. I would just watch movies. I had a whole collection of movies, and I watched every commentary of every movie I ever had, and it was beautiful. It was great. But I was at the same time, I also would listen to the soundtrack. I would find out who was the composer. Like, hence, this is why I got into so many different music and so many different things because if you look at movies like the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Like he had Hans Zimmer in all it, because Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer are like best mates, and they just understand each other when it comes down to their creative like talents and stuff like that. So like I became a huge fan of Hans Zimmer, and I became a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. Like Inception is amazing. Then I became a huge fan of Tina Guyer, Guyo, Guyo. I can't remember. I can't. I'm horrible at pronouncing names, but like she's a cellist and she's phenomenal. She actually she's has geek elements to her. I don't want to say she's a gamer because I'm not sure if she is a gamer, but she does enjoy supplying music to games or doing a cello rendition of certain games. She did a God of War one with a phenomenal, phenomenal. I'm playing Ragnarok right now, by the way. Fantastic story. Like I highly recommend anybody if haven't played it, play it at your own leisure. But also if you don't play games, just watch somebody playing on YouTube. Like truth be told, like I want to be clear with this. I never understood the affinity of why certain individuals, man, women, non-binary, or indifferent, would clown or try to come at video games because point blank period, video games is just another form of a storytelling medium. So that's literally like looking at books, which apparently, I mean, not apparently, but people do look at books and be like, oh my God, you're reading? And it's so funny to me. But like, that could go for any like avenue of media. You could be like, oh my God, you're listening to a podcast, radio podcast? Ah. Oh, you watching a TV show? Ah. You going to the movies to watch a movie? Ah. You streaming a movie on Netflix and on HBO Max? Ah. Like, it's the same thing. It's like, it's just a story being told by a different medium. Like I literally had my roommate who's like, I don't watch, which is so hypocritical and so ridiculous because they do. It's like I can't watch superhero stuff. Like, yeah, you do. You watch superhero stuff all the time. We talk. Literally, she literally sat there and watched Black Lightning, and I was like, you do realize Black Lightning is a part of the like Arrowverse, which is a part of Green Arrow, Flash, and all that. I don't watch superhero stuff. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You know what Reacher is? Reacher is a superhero show without the superhero costume. That's all Reacher is. He's just a normal dude who's doing extraordinary things in extraordinary circumstances. That's all a superhero thing is. So it's so funny. But regardless of that, um, yeah, like I would just keep finding new and new things to think. Like I said, Taming Your Shrew is a reinterpretation of a modern time in Ten Things I Hate About You, which brought me back to watching Taming the Shrew or watching Cruel Intentions being Dangerous Liaisons, and then going back and watching Dangerous Liaisons, or watching every story has something that is perpetuated from some another story that came out before, like Dragon Ball, Journey of the West, like or Journey to the East, whatever. Wu Fang, everybody know it because the whole that game that just came out, uh, Wu Fang, or like what is it called, like which is a dope game. I I don't know, man. Maybe I'm definitely one of those people where if something is getting too much hype, I'll wait until the hype is gone so I can just enjoy it myself. I can just have my own interpretation of my own understanding of it. I don't need everybody else's thoughts about it saying like, oh yeah. I'm not gonna say an example, but everybody know what I'm talking about. But I'm like I rather just like unless it's something like video game wise, the Wolverine game that's coming out, I'm getting it. I'm as soon as I can pre-order it, I'm pre-ordering it. I'm going to go to the my local GameStop and I'm going to go buy it from GameStop, or I can just buy it from Amazon. But either way, all corporations suck. But at the same time, they suck, but they have stuff I want. So yeah, like I try not. It's so funny because I one of my new Soul Tribe, like we was talking and we was going back, like not going back and forth, but we was talking about the whole fact of like how difficult it is to try to hold your ground and say, I don't want to support this because of X, Y, and Z, but there's no real other way around not supporting because their hands isn't. It's like the scene. It's like the scene from The Good Place where Maya Rudolph as the judge. Spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it, but regardless, like her line when she experiences something, and she's just like, "Life on Earth is hard, y'all." Like, like you don't know, like literally, literally, you don't know if the tomato you're buying from your local grocery store is being funded by a malicious group that's killing and like destroying villages and stuff. You have no clue. You don't know. You just know you getting a tomato. That's it. And the bad part is, somebody else knows, and somebody else is calculating that somewhere. They like, oh well, it sucks that they didn't know. They should have learned though, because the knowledge is there, the information is there. All you gotta do is look it up and say, all right, Chiquita bananas, and be like, where did Chiquita bananas come from? And be like, oh wait, it comes from that company, and that company does this, this, and that. Oh, they're promoting genocides for this, and they actually are help funding different viruses that actually kill off people. Oh, I guess I don't want to buy Chiquita bananas. Now, not to say that Chiquita bananas did that because I don't know. I didn't look them up. I'm just using an example. But like, we can do that with anything, with everything. We can literally we have computers on our hips, in our pockets, like wherever you want to hold your phone at. You have a computer in your hand. You can look up anything that you want. And that's what I do. I just look up stuff. I just read stuff. I just research stuff. I just watch stuff. I just learn. Because I mean, I'm not doing anything else with this time. Like, except for, oh, I'm sorry, except for writing books, staying on the president list, getting myself back in shape and healthy, learning how to play the bass guitar, playing playing God of War for my own comfort levels, taking care of my roommate, working, and also just learning how to heal from all the trauma and all the stuff that I experienced and lived through and I survived and being grateful for it all. Like I can honestly say, like I'm so ecstatically grateful on like where my journey's led me. Like I'm regardless of all the wildness and craziness that I expressed in my growing up from the time of 5 to 8, moving into the 16-year-olds and stuff like that. Like I I'm sitting in my own car that I bought myself. I'm sitting talking on a microphone on a device that I bought myself, on a laptop that I bought myself, like on a phone that I got myself that I'm paying for my own. I'm healthy. Um, I'm wiser than I was yesterday. Like I don't have a competition with anybody. I'm not trying to compete with anything except for making myself better, and that's the only goal. So that I can be the best version of myself for myself first and foremost, but secondly for my daughter, and then thirdly for the world at large. Like, and that's my only I don't know, craving. Like my only desire. I don't have any fear because I lived through all the things. A friend of mine's actually just asked me this like on Tuesday. It was funny enough. They was like, "What do I do? What do I fear? And what do I have a fear?" And I told him honestly and matter of factly because I was like, I'm living my fear now. Like the fact that as a father, my first foremost thing is always wanting to make sure that I can be there and protect my daughter. And of my greatest fear after the fear of seeing her die before me or having to witness her no longer here and present is uh, a huge fucking fear. But the thing was, I seen her turn purple when she was first born. Like she took a couple of breaths, took like one or two breaths, and then she stopped breathing and turned purple, and they had to resuscitate her. And I literally was still taking like pictures out of shock of just being like, oh, like first off the present the whew, the the birthing of it was complications because one um she was overdue. She stayed on her own time. It was supposed to come out like sooner, but it was like nah, I'll wait till the 28th. And it wasn't even the fact that she waited till the 28th. Her mom was like, I'm going to do everything possible to induce this labor, which was walk. We went to the mall. We walked around the mall during Christmas time. Because this all happened the same day. This was the 28th of, I'm sorry, 27th going into the 28th, technically. So, because Lily was born around like 6:45 in the morning. They removed her from her mom's stomach by C-section because the complications of the inducing was also we walked around the mall, we ate spicy food, we got intimate, we did everything. She bounced on the ball. Uh, not a euphemism, not a euphemism. We literally had a yoga ball, and she was bouncing, used to bounce on the yoga ball. Um, all of that transpired into contractions, thankfully. But when we got to the hospital, we found out that the umbilical cord was wrapped around her throat. So they had to do a C-section because if they did try to do the, pushing and yada yada, she would have snapped her own neck. So they did a C-section. When they, of course, they have to open her up first, stuff like that. And when they get to the point of having it secure and sanitary, and her insides are opened up so they can retrieve Lily and stuff like that, that's when they called me in. It was like, hey, we're about to introduce your daughter to the world. You can come in. And I left Lily's aunt in the hospital waiting room because she came with us, and then I went in there and at the nick of time and seen them removing my daughter. And yeah, that's when she was, tiny and awesome and like ruby red lips or like that. And then she's crying and, just yelling and screaming and stuff. And then she stopped and it was quiet. And then all the nurses and the doctor crammed around her while the other doctor and nurses was trying to like stitch up her mom. And yeah, I was just like behind monitors, like kind of like in the corner with my camera, kind of just like snapping pictures. Because I was like, oh my god, like this is amazing. And then it got to like she turned purple and she just was laying there. And then something happened and they brought her back and she was crying again and color came back to her and like they took her down to NICU. And then they did that weird thing because she had like these beautiful like green hazelish eyes, but then they put this like clear pigment changing solution in her actual on her irises, and it made her eyes brown. So I did a lot of research with that. I noticed that a lot of babies that was born by doulas that weren't born in hospitals, they end up keeping their natural color irises, and those babies that are in hospitals, they're usually of POC descendant. They usually get this gunk pin in their eye to actually have their eye pigment turn brown. They try to say and claim it's because they're trying to clear out the mucus and all the gunk or whatever like that that might be in the eyes, but every uh, every birth does not require a C-section. Even though if you look at uh, the data around it, most majority of POC women actually are I'm not gonna say forced, um, shuffled in to saying they need the procedure of C-section done so that it can be a more costly birth. Because if they use more tools, they get more money back because of the fact of the insurance. But you, everybody should be able to have natural births if there's no complications. But for some reason, they always try to find a complication of reason why to have C-sections for POC people. Y'all can look it up the data yourself. Don't take my word for it. Anyway, but which I do have an interesting fun fact about the whole identity of the caucasity in the healthcare system to POC people and their understanding or their lack of understanding of people feel pain if you cut them with something. But of course, you gotta do research, and I do a lot of research, and a lot of the things that came about from the research that I found were looking at um, very highly very highly sophisticated methods of surgery that has and honestly still is being done in different areas of Africa where there are different healers and doctors of varieties that are not Western based that have been recorded to literally cut the scalps and remove the top frame of the skull and actually do brain surgery while a person is literally sitting there just fucking hanging out, like whittling a piece of wood or like yada yada yada. And this person without any type of aesthetics or you know modern tools is literally going into a person's brain and doing shit to it, and the person is alive and fine, and yada yada yada, with no natural anesthesia stuff like that. Once again, you can look at yourself. But again, if a modern day person or a person who feels though they're modern day or more sophisticated sees something like that, they're instantly going to be like, "Wait, I seen these people have open brain surgery without any type of like painkillers or like that. They clearly don't feel pain." To fast forward to what we know for a fact of how these savages in Europe used to get African women, African men, African children, and people of the POC community, and literally, even to this day, continuously cause undue, unnecessary pain to the POC people in the healthcare profession, and literally try to yell at them and being like, "Stop yelling. Why are you acting like you're in pain? It's just going to be a little bit longer. Stop crying. Get over it." As if we're subhuman, and as subhumans, we don't feel pain. But ironically enough, that's how some of them see people of color. They see people of color as subhuman. We know that as a fact. Three-fourths of a man, three-fifths of a man, three-fifths of a person during slavery. So we can't act like something that just happened less than fucking 500 years ago is going to bleed out of a goddamn race of people. And I only reason I bring this up because I literally went on my tangent. I indeedly doodly showed my ass off in my last discussion board because I'm like, I'm tired of this shit. You're not gonna keep on trying to whittle down my points by saying I want to take away 2 points in grammar and take away 3 points in comprehension. So I have a total of 5 points taken away. So it won't be an A, it'll be a B plus. It's like, so you believe by trying to nitpick at my grammar because I don't speak the same vernacular as you or use the same phrasing as you, that now I'm inferior, or you want to deduct me because that's not how you would write it? No, no. Give me Robert Williams from Goodwill Hunting. Like, I'm not trying to have my instructors fit me into their box because they are limited in their access to their intelligence. No. And you're not going to try to pull me down to a level that you're at because of the fact that you can't reach my level. Be better. Do better. And my thing is this, regardless of anything, I can give two shits, like I said last week. But I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do for this, for my journey. Let's just say it like that. For my journey, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I need to do, and I'm already doing it. You are a footnote in my story, and that footnote is only going to reflect who you are in my story compared to who I am in my story. Because I already know who I am in my story. You're the one who's acting distinctly similar to all the other bigots and racists by trying to say the vernacular of fucking your grammar is off or your comprehension is off. So you do you, boo. Because after I'm done because tomorrow is the last time I get to fucking deal with that motherfucker or that person. And once again, let's be clear. I'm not saying that that person is a racist or a bigot. I'm just saying they're quacking like a duck. That's all I'm saying. Because that don't make no sense. Now, regardless of that, it is what it is because I'm still Gucci and I'm still going to be getting my grades and I'm still going to be passing and I'm still going to be graduating. Like, what a Lily's great great grandma used to say, one monkey don't stop no show. So it was funny. That wasn't even my great grandma. That was actually her mom's great grandma, and she was a pistol. I adored that woman. I only met her like twice. I met her twice. Oh yeah, I met her twice. I was in her place 3 times because after she transitioned, I helped them like move her stuff out of her condo and stuff like that. She like when I tell you, that's why I adore old people. Old people are amazing because they don't give a rat's ass. They like, this is who I am. I survived this long. You just want to deal with it. But it's not one of those things that like they go out their way to be not all of them, because some of them do. Some of them just assholes through and through all the way to death. But like it's just that complacentness of being like, yeah, no, like you. If you never walked in my shoes, you can't tell me nothing about myself. And I always admired that. And that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm 44, gonna be 45, but yeah, I walk around like I'm a 90-year-old woman, 90-year-old black woman. Cause like you ain't gonna tell me about me. You can make up all the fables you want. You can create whatever delusion you think you can make up. But guess what? My life story, my delusion, is always going to be way better than what you can think of creating for me or creating about me. And at the same time, the more and more you keep on trying to create fables about me and try to tell people this is who I am and try to give these examples about these fake ass fucking fables that you're going to create about me, and then when the real truth come out and I'm really showing everybody what I'm doing, what is your fable going to do but just fucking fall to ash and make you look like an asshole because you're the one who was spreading rumors about me that wasn't true? But that's your journey, and I'm grateful for the lessons that you showed me about it. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, so even with even with that and that understanding of me just being like a 90-year-old white woman, just like, yo, when am I gonna start the show? I'm just like, I'm fed up with it because when this is like the third time a similar scenario happened like this. The first time I just took it on the chin. Like I think I got like a C. I got like a C. I think I got a C plus or a B minus for that grade. But that was for my associate degree. But once again, like I said, one class out of all those classes literally just had me on the dean's list. And honestly, that was only because when I first started my associates, I was lackadaisical about it, and I really wasn't like pushing for like A's for every class. I was getting A's, but I wasn't pushing for A's. Like I wasn't literally. I was just like, and also, I was learning. This was my first time in college, so I was learning it, and I was getting deducted a lot of points because you're supposed to be doing a discussion board, and you're supposed to do the discussion board. Like you're supposed to answer the first main question by like 2 days in. So like the week starts on a Tuesday. By Thursday, like you gotta, no, 3 days in. You gotta finish your main discussion board post. But then by like Saturday, you gotta at least have two reply posts to your pairs of your what you call it. I was doing my main question and my pair questions the same day on like Saturday night. So I was getting deducted points like throughout the whole school thing until I was like, oh, reading is fundamental. Let me read these instructions. I skimmed the instructions, but I never like I skimmed the instructions for how many words I needed, the word count needed, and like the question for it. But that was it. I was never looked at it like, oh, it has to be, yeah, blah 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 blah. So my associate's degree, only reason I was on the dean's list was because of the fact that I was getting points deducted throughout almost all my courses, and then I got hit with the C plus or the B minus for his class that solidified me into the dean's list. This one, because I paid attention to the curriculum and the instructions, I was like, okay, I have to make sure I answer by Thursday for the first, and then yada yada. So now I don't get the points deducted, so I'm always staying in the A range, constantly A range. And then if I do like the extra credit, like I'm always over the A range. So that's where I was just like where I'm at. where was because I'm like I enjoy going to like the live some days because it's only an hour of my day and I get to learn some stuff like depending on the different personalities of the instructors and stuff like that. It's cool, but yeah, I so it's like one of those things. It's like yeah, if somebody feels a certain type of way, because now in my second degree of psychology, the science of psychology, I had a secondary teacher that actually had that where she kept trying to be in the point where she was like, I wouldn't write it like that. Well, I'm not you. I wasn't raised the same way you were. I didn't have the same amount of parents or the same number of parents that you might have had compared to what I had. I didn't eat Brussels sprouts, I mean, during certain meals and stuff like that. I was eating collard greens. And it wasn't until later where I decided I want to eat spinach. So like I'm not eating like asparagus and stuff like that, asparagus tips and stuff like that. I wasn't raised in that type of home. I like pancakes. People like waffles. I don't really eat hash browns like that. But I will eat it, but I'm not really like I'm gonna go to the store and buy some hash browns. Somebody go to the store right now and be like, every time I go to the store, I gotta buy some hash browns for my breakfast cereals, my breakfast stuff. We have different charted out journeys in our lives. You can't look at somebody and literally be like, well, you wrote it different than I did, so you're wrong. No, they're writing it from their perspective. That's the whole point of school. It's saying, all right, this is my perspective of the topic at hand that we're talking about, and this is my understanding for it. Is my understanding correct, instructor? Oh, it is? Cool, I get an A. It's not supposed to be, well, it kind of seemed like you understand it, but because you wrote it in a vernacular I didn't agree with, I don't use, you're wrong. Bitch, what? See, that's the problem. Everybody want to do this cookie cutter bullshit of making fucking copy after copy, especially when it comes down to POC people. When it comes down to POC people, motherfuckers always want to be like, oh, no, 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 no. You got to be in this box. And if you're not in this box, it makes me uncomfortable because you should be in this box. But since you're not in this box, I'm uncomfortable. So now I got to put you in your place. And that's all that is. That's all that is. Because unlike Goodwill Hunting, which everybody knows that goddamn scene, Captain My Captain, and the other scene is not your fault. Like it's or the other scene where he's talking about the goddamn baseball World Series game, but he met up with his wife instead because he was like, I got a woman to meet. Like it's about the individual journey of the person and finding out how we can help each other to evolve to our greatest potential. But motherfuckers like those people who want to nitpick that shit, who want to fucking go and be like, oh yeah, like let me just try to take them down the peg. Who the fuck? Who, who pissed in your Cheerios, man? Like who pissed in your Cheerios? Who shitted in your jelly donut? Cause why the fuck do you feel like you need to put anyone in their place? If someone's living their life and doing their own thing, who the fuck are you to be like, oh, well, I just gotta make sure I gotta take them down the peg because I was taken down the peg by somebody that shouldn't have told me what to do, but now because I'm scarred by it and traumatized by it, I'm gonna do that to somebody else because that's my delusion. My delusion is I gotta be a piece of shit to other people that feels intimidating to me. Like I literally put white fragility and inferiority complex in that discussion board. I was like, I'm tired of this white fragility and inferiority complex. Like if I have an intellect that is greater, more expansive than other people, then just learn from it. I mean, you don't gotta learn from me. Like that'd be great if you did, but you don't have to learn from me. But you can also do the same research I did. But don't get mad at me if you don't want to do the research I did, and now you upset because of the fact that I did the research, and now I have an intelligence that's going to be over yours. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I just say I like learning. People try to put me on the pedestal and act like I'm trying to be better than people. I don't care about people. Not in that grand scheme. Like I love humanity, and I feel like humanity could be better, and I feel like humanity can strive to be the best it can possibly be. But We got to break past these indoctrinations. And all indoctrinations is doing is literally just having a whole bunch of people be fucking gatekeepers. Like, that's all everybody doing right now. Everybody's gatekeeping something. And then when I come out trying to be authentic and being like, hey guys, I just learned to love myself. I learned to, like, you know, respect myself enough to say, like, I know that there's better out there for me. And I want to find the people who also feel that way so that we can connect and we can learn and grow together and we can build something better for not just ourselves but like the next generation, the next the the next inhabitor of this planet. Because once again, we don't have the technology to terraform other planets yet. When we do, that would be great, but we don't. But we still have all these fucking idiots, and I will use that term vengefully. We have all these idiots in corporate power who are polluting the world, polluting the air that we breathe, polluting the water that we drink, polluting the land that we walk on, that we need to flourish. They're cutting down the trees that we need to breathe with. That's sucking up the carbon dioxide so that we can breathe oxygen. It's producing oxygen for us to breathe. They're cutting the rainforests down. They're building refineries around the four corners of every city. So literally, when you are driving into the city or driving out to the city, you only thing you see is black smokestacks. Like, we still can't act like we don't know Flint is a fucking thing. Like, Flint, Michigan is still happening. They still don't have clean water. But because of the fact that nobody want to talk about it now, we want to act like it's just not happening. Like, come on, it's not cool. That's why, honestly, I'm so excited. Because listen, this is still week 3 of Operation Robin Hood, and I am seeing results already. I am seeing some really good results. And honestly, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by the good reactions as well as the petty reactions. And I'm actually even more excited about the petty reactions because when I tell you the names that I'm going to reveal next week for all those who listen to me and all those who share my stuff out and actually allow me to be heard by as many different ears as possible, I can't wait to share your names. And for those who not sharing my name out that I know y'all are watching my stuff, I can't wait to share y'all names out either so I can actually get all your followers to understand that y'all are just black holes and y'all don't really want anything except for clout and notoriety. You're not doing this for anybody's sake to help anybody. Y'all just doing it to help yourselves. And that's cool. That's your journey, like I said. But we can't go anywhere if we're going to do it by ourselves. Everybody keep trying to do their fucking weirdo shit of science, say to pull yourself by your bootstraps thing, which is ridiculous. It was actually I was on a Deep Thinkers chat by a new friend of mine named Goddess on TikTok and their partner named Gel on TikTok. Dope individuals, like, definitely check them out. They're incredible. They're amazing. Um, they was talking about it. They was even saying like, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. There's no way you can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You will literally be flying off the ground if you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And then the fact of the matter is, you can't levitate. There's no stationary thing on it. So if you pull your bootstraps up and you're not on the ground, you're going to fall over. You're going to fall either on your face or you're going to fall on your back. It don't make any sense. Never made any sense. But point blank period, people need people. You know how I know people need people? Because all the stuff that we read in books was written down by people. And all the stuff that we claim that we know, that we shoehorn ourselves into saying, oh, this is the limits of our knowing and understanding, unless until somebody else devise and figure out something else beyond the things that we already thought was facts, because that's all science is, then they'd be like, oh, well, I guess that's something different that I didn't know existed now, and yada yada. But people just want to fucking just be sheeple and just follow after lines that they keep hearing over and over again. And it's like, that don't make sense. And the fact of the matter, when people need people, is the fact of the matter is we only know how far we go in our own journey. If Einstein was still alive, if Nicholas Tesla was still alive, if Edgar Allan Poe was still alive, if like, well, I'm not going to say other people because those are just for my own personal benefit. I was going to say like Eartha Kitt. If Eartha Kitt was still alive, like we don't know what these people were going to be like achieving in their age of immortality. Like E equals MC squared probably would have got blown out the water in another 20 years if Einstein was still alive. I mean, hell, if Einstein came back today with the technology that we have at our fingertips now, hell, if Einstein was alive today and went to CERN, if we teleported, if we did a TARDIS and Doctor Who thing and went back in time, grabbed Einstein real quick, brought him to the present day, and had him go to CERN and was like, "Hey, have fun." You know how much stuff he probably would have created in a span of a week, in a span of a day. He probably would like, wait. So wait, y'all found the God particle within the atom, and that is the nucleus of string theory that connects us all together. Oh my gosh, this theory like theoretically changes my whole idea about E equals MC squared now. Like Eddie Griffin actually said something about E equals MC squared in this comedy thing, and a lot of people fucking don't want to listen to Eddie Griffin because the fact that he got blackballed by the industry because the fact that he was giving a lot of knowledge in with his jokes. But the fact of the matter is, it was I enjoy listening to Eddie Griffin comedic stand up stuff when he talk about science more so I enjoy listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not saying I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I just feel like because Neil deGrasse Tyson was in a predicament where he needed money most of the time, I felt like he sold out himself and like said some things that was detrimental to real science and real. Basically, he let the white man money talk for him until he was able to talk for himself. And it's like, do you, boo? Like, you had to get what you had to get where you're at now. Like, I get it. I just, I was just like, yeah, because it set people back for it set a lot of people back for a minute for a lot for the earlier stuff that he used to say. That's why I was like, But anyway, but I don't know him personally. I just know that the thing that he was given to say, he said it, and I just was like, But yeah, it was just it's so funny because I don't even realize how I got it. Oh, right, because I was talking about Eddie Griffin. So yeah, it's just one of those things where just I don't have a thing where I want to tolerate. Sorry, I just got a response from one of the YouTube channels I watch. Well, it was a couple of them that responded back in since I was recording, but it was I gotta remember her name, her name, her channel name. I gotta remember her channel name because just a quick synopsis. They do um urban camping, and I don't know if you are familiar with what urban camping is. I wasn't familiar with what urban camping was until I'd seen her channel, and she basically she basically she'll find locations like abandoned like stores or like parks in like her in her city or like a parking lot where she could park her car somewhere and she'll just camp and she'll just camp, and she just that's is an adventure for her. It's so dope, and it was so funny because in her video she was coughing, and I thought she said something else, but I put the caption on it. She said something else completely different, but she was asking everybody. She was like, "I want to know how everybody feel about being adventure bunnies," and she said bunnies, but I was hearing buddies because like she coughed at the end of it and it was saying like buddies. So I was like, yeah, I'll definitely be a bit a venture buddy because I was like I'm a bear anyway. I now was myself as a bear, so that'd be perfect because bears like to be in the woods, so that's totally cool. And I went back and it was it said adventure buddies, and I was like, ah, see, I I could be I could be surrounded by the buddies. I could be it's like I could be surrounded by the buddies, but I'll be the buddy of the buddies. So, but yeah, they just replied back. They was just like, "Yay," to the wild adventure buddies. But yeah. Sorry, that just totally took me out of my headspace to where I was talking about it before. But yeah, so from like a young age, at like on the flip side of like the abuse and stuff like that that I received and like I was talking about in episode 9, this one I was like I was working out, I was doing like push ups, sit ups, like I was getting my body stronger so that I can because I was like I'm not using my I'm not using my mind the way that I was told or indoctrinated to use my mind in the academic world. But I was like, since I'm not using my mind that way, let me use my body. And I started getting my body physically fit. Because also I was getting abused, and I was like, if I toughen up my body, the abuse will hurt less. So it was a logical sense to it. And also, the more I worked out, the more stamina and more stuff I got, so I can run around more and play around outside stuff like that. But 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 so it was a thing where as the abuse continued, I was still getting stronger, and I literally started looking like basically a a Gohan, if you will. Like, you remember how Gohan got all ripped after like hanging out with Piccolo? Like, after his dad, after Goku died, and Piccolo basically threw him to a dinosaur and was like, "Survive." He did a Tropic Thunder. He did a Robert Downey Jr. Tropic Thunder. Survive. It just walked. It flew away. When I tell you, those were the lessons that I was like, I get it, I get it, I understand. That's why I respect Gohan so much. I respect Gohan so much because even still, he lived in the wilderness in the woods by himself for like a week. He seen his dinosaur friend die. He attacked the dinosaur that killed his dinosaur friend. Like he went to war. He created a sword. Like he had a sword. He was like Gohan training arc of him like not being a toddler no more to being now like a little adolescent. Like I fucked with it. I fucked with it. I'm so mad that they destroyed that Gohan plot because he was supposed to be the next fuck. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, sorry, it just get he threw him at a mountain. Piccolo threw Gohan at a mountain. He threw him at a mountain. Like think about how he at full speed. At full speed, he threw a toddler head first at a mountain with all of his strength. He was a crying baby, and respectfully, that crying baby fucking like locked the fuck in. Superman posed and then fucking did a key blast and destroyed the shit off the mountain. Even Piccolo was fucking stunned. He was plumb surprised. So yeah, so funny. So yeah, yeah, to go back to I can't stop grinning off that Gohan thing. To go back to my original point, like I'm done clearly being in episode 10 of my podcast of Welcome to Troyiverse, I'm done living quietly. I'm done living in the point of being like, of wasting time, honestly. I'm no longer at the point I just want to, I don't want to waste time. Like, if I want to waste time, I want to waste it doing the things I want, not being interrogated, not having people ask me questions that doesn't pertain to the point of hand because like it's a waste of time. I'm not going to waste time doing stuff that is in a school that I don't feel like doing stuff in. Like I want to do if I'm not passionate about it, I'm giving you the bare minimum if I have to do it. And I don't have to do anything. That's the funny thing about it. I'm choosing to do it, but I'm only choosing to do it because of the fact that this is going to get me where I need to be. That's it. That's all it is. Because, like I said, the things I have planned, yeah, I'm excited for you. Matter of fact, I meant to tell you. I said it last episode. And I want to say it this episode. I have a surprise. And the surprise is my spirituality. I'm making it into a church. I actually am in the final processes of getting my spirituality trademark, and yeah, my thing is going to be this for now on. I'm learning every system that I possibly can learn so that I can understand it, and by understanding that system, I can find out the rules, and then finding out the rules, you can find out the loopholes. And then find out the loopholes, you can find out that sweet spot of what makes you feel comfortable in that situation, as well as planting seeds, planting planting like little earworms, if you will, and also figuring out how to beat the system by adapting to the system to make it your own system. Because if all y'all want to keep complaining about taxes and yada yada yada, then y'all gotta figure out a way to not have to worry about taxes. I figured out my way. That's my journey. I'll give you more information about my church when everything is finalized. But yeah, that's where I'm going with mine. And that's just the start. I'm not finished yet. This is just the beginning. And I will give you more information in the coming weeks about the name of my doctorate. Like you already know everything that's going on about it because I already talk about the Phoenix all the time. That's my spirituality. But now I get to create a church and be a founder of the church for it. No more taxes. Not for me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for celebrating this 10th episode of Welcome to the Troyverse. And I'm just grateful for it all. I'm grateful for it all. I really am. Like the lessons learned has been so fundamentally like amazing for me. Like I want to say the line from an anime so bad because I literally just was rewatching. So I reincarnated as a slime, and Rebrew said the coldest line was like, "You should be honored to be a part of my evolution." And like that's such a cold ass line. Like it's not where I like. Like I love season 2 so much. Oh god, but yeah, check out the anime if you want. That's a dope anime. Eminence and Shadow is a dope anime. That's something else that I like. I really bang with. Because the character, I resonate with that character as well. Um, I resonate with a lot of these dudes shonen like anime like the all powerful yada yada who didn't realize how powerful they are type thing. I resonate with this. That's the energy I'm on now. I love it. It's just I do know how powerful I am, but it's easier to write a storyline where you have a character that doesn't know how far they are that grows into that instead of having a character who knows how powerful they are. They just do everything. But Still dope, man. This like what you call it? The old swordsman that was a country bumpkin, or the country bumpkin that's the master swordsman. That's what it's called. Love that one. It's so great. He's just a kind dude who just want to teach people how to fight sword play, and like do the right thing. Like such my spirit animal. I love it. But anyway, digress. Thanks again for listening and being a part of this. And once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging with me on my TikTok and my Instagram, my Facebooks, and um, my X and my Blue Sky and like my Fet Life. Like, thank you for engaging with me in all those different avenues and all those different places. And YouTube, of course, YouTube is I, that's the reason why I love YouTube so much, because I don't. Speaking about like the corporations and like that, I like to support people who are supporting themselves. Like if you have a talent and you want to share that talent, like I respect that because I resonate with that. I have talents that I want to share. I have books I want to share. I have podcasts I want to share, and I understand that drive to, if creating something, you want to have that thing that you create like be shared out to the world and have the world like understand you and see you, and I respect that, and I want to support that, and that's why I do what I do. That's why I comment and I share people's videos, and I comment on their page, and I ask for their support in return, because once again, go to rule, I treat people the way I want to be treated, and I want people to treat me the way I treat them. So if you see me share your stuff, but then also at the same time you starting to see me fall off and not share your stuff, that's because of the fact that I didn't see any reciprocation from you as well. So if I'm like sharing your stuff and I'm commenting your stuff and I'm like saving your stuff on any of the websites, and you're not doing anything back except for, oh, I'm sorry, the interesting ones, they'll repost other people's stuff that I repost. That's how they try to get you. That's, oh my god, the underbelly of TikTok is so funny too, because that's how they try to get you. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm about that life. I'm about sharing and sharing the like, and I'm about to like comment and yada yada." And then I'll do it, and they'll be like, I'm just gonna like your stuff and repost other people's stuff that you repost. I'm not gonna repost your stuff though." I'm like, the fuck, and then they'll try to be like, "Oh, well, why you not engaging no more? What do you mean? I literally told you this is a 50-50 thing. This is you. I water you, you water me. And now all of a sudden, all you want to do is repost other people's stuff that I reposted and not repost my stuff. Don't just sit there and like my podcast picture and then not repost it. Like, that's not helping me. I'm trying to help me and I'm trying to help everybody else. But I'm also trying to help other people that's trying to help me as well. Like, I don't understand how other people try to make that out to be a bad thing. It makes no sense. But like, regardless, once again, doesn't make sense to me, but it might make sense to them. At the same time, for me, I'm the only one I'm thinking about right now, because this is my life. It is my life. I'm trying to make sure I'm okay so I can make sure my daughter's okay. So if y'all got a problem with me doing what I'm doing so I can help myself and my daughter, then I don't give a fuck. I can kick rocks. But for all those who do appreciate me, and the ones, oh my god, like when I tell you, I didn't know what to do with my hands with like one of my, like the Will Ferrell line from Talladega Nights, where he's in the interview and he's keep raising his hands up in front of his face. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I didn't know what to do. Right, like I literally, I all I could think of was taking a screenshot of it or a picture of it, of what I was doing, and sending the picture out to people that I talked to, and people were like, all right, like I engaged with and I resonate with, stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my god, like look, like I'm like that's me, like that's me in the comment in the video, and like, oh my god, like that's dope, and like, yeah, or it's been it's been 3 weeks. Are you looking? Yeah, sorry. It's been an amazing experience with this podcast, and I can't help but smile and be completely grateful, like for everyone that I. Oh my god, let me give a actual shout out to like some distinct people actually. Everybody who's been calling me for the trucking company who is listening to this podcast, I just want to say y'all are real ones because y'all was looking for truck stuff because whatever my number, this is the weirdest thing. My number was given to me by my phone company when I got my new phone via one of my cousins who worked for the phone company, and that phone number I picked because you could pick you know there's a slew of numbers you could pick. I picked that number. Turns out that number is apparently a number to a trucking company number, and that trucking company lost this number, and I don't know if the person is gone or like isn't they retired from the work or they retire from life in general or whatever. But like everybody keep calling me and being like, hey, or texting me, hey, we got a MC blah blah blah. But oh no, 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 I just seen something I don't want to see. Oh no, oh I can't. Oh no, I can't describe it. I can't even describe it. I don't want to look and I don't want to see it when I got my eyes closed. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Focus. What was? Oh yeah, so truck company. The people keep calling me, they text me because they want information about the trucking company, and I gotta keep telling them, hey, sorry, but this is a personal line, and no longer or like no longer dealing with the truck company, and they're like, oh, okay, well, sorry about that. You know, a lot of people, like 99% of them, are like super polite and super cool and super like yada yada, and a lot of people just don't get the hint because usually if people text me, I'll send them back a text message back of a photo from the Welcome to Troyiverse podcast, and just saying thank you for the support or thank you for engaging, thank you for listening, yada yada, and then they'll be like, okay, but like, what's going on with the truck? It's like, does my name have anything to do with the trucking company that you purposely looked up to try to fucking contact? It don't make sense. Like, but people can't understand that there's multiple different Supermen in the world of comic books, and that's why they only have one movie per character of the show because people will be like, well, in that one Superman movie, he beat up that one character. Why can't he beat up that one character in the TV show now? That don't make sense. And it's like because it's two different worlds, two different versions of the same character. But common sense isn't common. Anyway, I'll end that off on that note. And, thank you again for the trucking company people. Thank you again for the YouTube people. Thank you again for the people that I have known in real life for years who are sharing this stuff out. I appreciate you all. I don't know who is all doing this because again, I feel like the characters, the voice actors from the X-Men animated series, the first time they went through the animated series thing, where they was like, we didn't know if people was listening or if people was doing anything, like if people was like watching us or like if we didn't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is I keep looking at the numbers and the numbers keep showing up that like it keep rising. It keep rising. It was at like 100 and I think it was like 101. I try not to say 101 dimensions, so I keep pausing. It's like 101, and now it's like 100 and like 14, 115, I think now. The listeners are like people are listening, and yeah, and this is episode 10. So the average of that is like what 11, 12 people episodes for episode 1 to 9, basically. But yeah, yeah, it's great. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Um, it was a line. I know I keep saying this. I'm done, but it's a line that is so. I heard recently. It was one of those things where somebody said, "In 100 years, people won't remember that you was here," and that that resonated with me because I was like, "Oh wow!" Like in 100 years, I'm still gonna have stuff here that is going to reflect me. Like, be it either like my my daughter's offsprings if she decides to have children when she gets older or whatever. If this planet, if this world is still here, let's just say it like that. If this planet, this world is still here and within 100 years, nothing catastrophic happened, yada yada, just here, and we still have the same technology and stuff like that that we had during, in the future, if not progressed greatly or like that, but still can backwards compatibility, like the PS5 playing a PS3 game type thing, you know, then there will be a thing where like my podcast is still going to be available. Like, it's not like I just put my podcast on Spotify. It's like it's on Podbean, it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube, it's on uh, a whole bunch of other like little not little but a whole bunch of other podcast platforms stuff like that. So like in 100 years my podcast is still going to be able to be listened to. My books that I wrote are going to be able to be read in e-form or eventually when I get into paperback form. Like, I'm leaving treasures of myself that cannot be denied in a future aspect. Now, if everything goes, if like if an EMP happened and everything gets fried, like we're like I'm fucked. But but at the same time, like that can happen anywhere. But for right now, it's a thing of like, yeah, like I'm in 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, depending on how technology goes. Like, uh, I'm going to be around. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to have some type of legacy that's going to like hold on to say this person that went by Troyiverse or went by Troy or yada yada yada, like they existed. Like they existed. And that brings me so much joy and gratitude that me doing me being myself, me just authentically just existing is going to have ramifications and effects of lives that I won't even know I'm going to be touching or influencing or like helping to heal even when I'm dead and gone. And it's so beautiful to me. Because, I mean, to go back from episode one to this episode to think about where I started from and where I came from and why I am the way I am, and to be like, my words have helped people in this present day. How many more people is going to help in the future, even when I'm gone? I don't know. I don't know about y'all. I don't. I mean, I'm not. Once again, I know I'm weird because I have just recently started finding people that I'm not even say think like me, but like resonate with me on certain things. I still haven't found anybody who has willingly, in the same kindness, in the same vein as me, been like, I want I want you to be comfortably you, Troy, with me, and I accept you and your comfort while you're with me, the way that you accept me and in my comfort when I'm with you. I haven't heard anybody ever say that to me. People might have thought it, possibly, possibly. I don't know what people think. I don't assume what people think. I don't want to make assumptions on what people think. Like, it's a possibility, probability they did, but no one ever said that to me in real life. Nobody ever said, just, it's okay to be you with me. I'm not going to judge you. Like, I don't want to judge you. Not even the fact that I'm not going to judge you, but I don't want to judge you. I just want you to be comfortable, Troy. And that's all I give to everybody else. I don't care about what you do, what you eat, what blah, blah, blah. I just want you to be comfortable. I wanna be able to be for everybody to just be comfortable. Now, if it's something that I don't agree with, then you can still be comfortable. I just choose to not involve myself in that light of being comfortable. And that's also okay. I just met so many people, so many individuals that I was just like, I see you and you're not offensive to me. You're like, even if other people are offended by you, I don't find you offensive. And I just kind of want to learn more about you and learn why you feel that way, think that way. What's your life story that led you to this path on your journey to represent yourself that way? That's it. Like I just want to learn people's life, learn people's stories, and like the most like non-evasive way possible. Just want to talk and just kind of hang out, just learn people. Because I mean, I'm learning people regardless if I'm talking to them or not by their actions, either towards me or their actions against me, if you will. So I'm already learning, y'all. It's just I would love to actually be like friends and learn each other like that as well, and yada yada yada. But that's it. That's the end of it. Just but it's also funny too. I keep doing that. This is the last time I swear. Might probably not. But like I keep. It's episode 10. It's episode 10. I'm celebrating. I got so much to say today. But like it's interesting to it's interesting to me because I find it so how I grateful. I appreciate it. I'm so appreciative and grateful to the idea and the fact that like the one thing I was looking for this whole time of acceptance and love and yada 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 is something that now I have within myself of trusting myself and being in love with myself and loving myself and like showing myself the compassion and stuff like that I've been showing the world and I've been searching for myself. Now that I have that, like now that I hold on to myself and hold on to like my like inner child and like secure in a secure, loving and like compassionate way, like all I want to do now is go as far away from everybody as possible and live in the woods. Honestly, that's it. Like I want to give y'all the knowledge that I have for those that are willing to like accept the knowledge that I have, the tidbits of information that I gain from the other side. And then after that, I just kind of want to vamoose. Like I just don't. I don't like. It's so funny because it's not. My friend said something similar, but I want to know. I want to ask them their definition of it because they don't want to be perceived, and I want to know what their meaning behind, like their personal meaning behind them not being perceived. Because once again, like I said, I go by dictionary stuff. So when I use words, also a little tidbit. If anybody's ever offended by anything I say, go look up the dictionary, the dictation for it or the definition for it. Like that's how I use words. I don't use words for my emotions or how I feel they should be interpreted. I use the definition of those words. So, like case in point, like the word stubborn is the funniest thing ever because like narcissists will use the word stubborn and manipulators will use the word stubborn. It is funny because all words have definition and all definitions have meaning. So stubborn means having or showing dogged determination not to change one attitude or position on something, especially in spite of good arguments or reasons to do so. So basically, even if you feel as though it's a good reason for you, you don't have to call somebody stubborn because they don't want to take your advice. That's just mean that they have their own thing that they're doing. That's their own journey that they're doing. I mean, let's go even more because even with the whole thing with stubborn, they have the word dog underlined, so you can hit the word dog to see what the definition of dog is. And I did that, and I looked it up, and it was like dog, having or showing tenacity and persistence. And you have tenacity and persistence, like like underlined, so you can actually look at that. So I went and I was like, all right, let me look at tenacity. I was like, the quality or fact of being able to grip something firmly, and it says grip. And I was like, all right, let's go to persistent. It was like firm or uh, was a continuous in a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. So it's like, all right, it's multiple different layers of just the fact of being like, this is what that word means. Continuous, a state of remaining in existence or operation. So all that, so stubborn just means you have moxie and you won't be deterred from your goal. But people want to will always want to say, "Oh, you're not listening to me. You being stubborn." Why should I listen to you? You live your own life. Should I then tell you what to do? So do we get to trade off? Do I get to tell you what to do because I just got told what to do by you? No, you don't want to listen to me. So then shut the fuck up. Why are you gonna try to tell me about something and just call me stubborn because I'm not trying to take your advice? You don't see what I see. You don't know what I know, and you haven't been through what I've been through. So there's no reason for me to take your advice. Now I will consider it, even if it's a good reason. I'll consider it, but you don't know what I'm doing. And if you don't know what I'm doing, then just sit back and enjoy the ride because all this is just entertainment, baby. And are you not entertained? But anyway, but yeah, like that's like so. Once again, if you look for any type of triggers by the words I say, that's weird. But I'm used to it. But I'm no longer on the fact of being a trigger or being called trigger anymore. Now I'm an activator because if you want to take a negative, you use the word trigger. If you want to take a word and change it to a positive, it's activate. So I'm activating those who choose or want to be activated, and those who choose and want to be triggered. There you go. You're triggered. Well done. I hope you're happy. But yeah, my purpose and my goal is always going to be the same, and that's going to be to enlighten myself, hopefully enlighten others that hear me, and to be a service and a help. And if that is something that people feel as though is something wrong or something bad or something that should be stopped, then that really says a lot about them. So thank you again for being here for the 10th episode of Welcome to the Troyverse. I can't stop cheesing and smiling about everything that is going on, about where I'm going to be going, about the new church. I'm in a church, y'all. Sir, this is so funny. Like, if anybody would have told me that at age 5, when I was crying over the fact that my mom left me and I then went to take a nap while they was praying and then ended up with two girlfriends the same day that knew each other. I was in a throuple relationship, let's be clear. Not of my own doing, but just because of the fact that I was compliant. Because I complied. I was like, you know what? That is a good idea. Because I do like you and she likes me. So we should all go together. That is a fantastic. Yes, I will comply to that. If you would have told that little 5-year-old boy, hey, in the next, like 39 years, next 39 years, you're going to go through a life altering experience and then you're going to make a church. I just want you to know that. Like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, it was so, like, yeah, no clue. No clue. This was my trajectory of where I was going. I should have known because I've like literally looked at almost every single religion. I looked at every single religion. Every really like I really read up on like almost the fictional ones, the mythological ones, the air quote real ones. Like, oh my gosh, like I read up on so many doctrines, and nothing like held any weight for me. Not until this one. Not until the Phoenix. Like it's beautiful for me, and it's so beautiful because it's the Phoenix is coming up everywhere now. Like the Phoenix has always been paramount in everything, of course, but like if it's more of so many more confirmations being called, like with all the the wonderful tarot readers that I have been engaging with and I've been talking to, like the good ones and the scammers. Like I appreciate y'all all, I really do, because when I thank you, I just gonna say I appreciate you all. I'm so grateful for everybody. I'm grateful for you for listening. I'm grateful for you being here. I am grateful. I'm grateful I'm here. I'm grateful that in the next 100 or so years later, my voice is still gonna be being heard. I like the church is like everything goes planned. The church is gonna go on for infinite, intestine amounts of years, decades, like eons. Um, because it's not just like of course, let's go back to my delusion part. It's not just this timeline, is all of them. This is an omniversal operation. So this is going to resonate through every fiber of everything that I am, of all that I am, because that's always been the journey. A unified religion, unified, a unified. And the beautiful part about it is, I'm not asking anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. Like, you can still be whatever religion that you choose to be. You can still be Christian. You could be atheist. You could be a Luciferian. You could be you could believe in nothing. But like, if you want to be part of the church, all you gotta do is just be kind. If you want to represent the Phoenix, then you can represent the Phoenix in whatever way that you choose to. Because point blank period, I see the light of the Phoenix in all of us. So you already represent the Phoenix if you choose to or not. But if you want to have a representation, you can have a necklace, you can have a ring, you get a mohawk with the Phoenix shaved in the side of your head. You can get like a braids into the shape of a phoenix, like a bird. Like you get a shirt that has a phoenix on it. You get a white shirt, just write Phoenix on top of it. Like you whatever. But you can still be you. You can still be a Muslim and do your prayers and your allowed amount of time that you need to do your prayers and still believe in the Phoenix. I'm not trying to encroach or try to manipulate or try to sabotage anybody else's belief system. All I say is my belief system allows for respecting everyone's belief system. Will everybody's belief system dare to respect mine the way I respect theirs? Which is all in pretty much almost all religious decrees to treat people the way you want to be treated. So the ball's in your court, reality. I was going to say world, reality. So, because I know one thing for sure, and two things for certain. I'm grateful and I'm happy and I'm living in comfort. And all I'm hearing is a lot of different people crying of wells of confusion, sadness, and pain, even in their religion, that they are full head steam, full steam ahead, all like indoctrinated by. I got faith in my works and work for my faith, and those works in my faith in my works is proven and showing accuracy. So there's that. But yeah, I will talk about um um next episode. I'll talk about another precocious situation that I got into where it was a lot of stuff going through my mind that day. Sneak peek about it. It deals with pouring out liquor and re pouring water into that bottle of liquor. So, but it's not what you think. But all right. Thank you again for your time, and I appreciate you staying here for this extra lengthy long episode 10 of Welcome to the Troyverse. I appreciate you all, and I will see you. Yeah, oh, you'll hear my voice after Christmas, so happy Christmas, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, uh, Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Reboxing Day, Happy Unboxing Day, Happy Day that Chris Kringle came down your chimney and slept with your mom because everybody's seen Santa Claus and mom kissing. And that song should be played later on tonight, probably. So, all right, y'all have a good one. Thanks again for your time, and I appreciate you in this space. All right, see you later. This has been a Troyverse production.